You gotta hand it to James Harden. He might be the most powerful player in the NBA. Forget LeBron James. Harden literally tells his team where he wants to go and just gets his wish. You know, I don't like Houston. I want to play with KD. No problem. Wait, forget that. I want Philly. Yes, sir. Now I want to be on the Clippers. And he gets his wish. Some people might call that a selfish diva. I think they're just jealous. So the full trade, this can get complicated. Clippers get Harden, PJ Tucker, and someone named Philip Petrusev. The Sixers get the return of Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, Marcus Morris, a protected 2026 first from the Clippers via OKC, an unprotected 2028 first, 2 second-round picks, and a 2029 swap from the Clippers. The Thunder get a 2027 swap from LA. The 2028 is unprotected, which is extremely valuable. So if Daryl Morey plays his next move right, Joel Embiid can finally make the finals. Philly didn't get back Terrence Mann, but they got even better. 4 valuable first-round picks, including their own, to get the next Drew Holiday-level player on the market. Now, we will talk about who that could be, but there's another key piece for Philly. All they got back for Harden were expiring contracts, so this summer, they'll have between $50 and $65 million in cap space. By this time next year, Embiid could have a super team to compete for chips. So the Clippers saved Daryl Morey's job. One day he's stuck with a disgruntled star that called him a liar. The season's a disaster. Embiid could demand a trade. The next day he's got all this flexibility to build a great team. Morey is so lucky the Clippers did this. Now, he needs another big move. Could Philly pounce if the Bulls blow it up to get Zach LaVine? I want to look at all their options, but what does this mean for LA? On paper, this is amazing for the Clippers. Harden has never played with 2 talented wings like Kawhi and Paul George. That takes the scoring load off the beard and allows him to show off even more as a playmaker. He led the NBA in assists last year and helped Embiid win MVP. Kawhi and PG have never played with a point guard like Harden. Ty Lue, the best coach to figure out how to make it work in the playoffs. It's amazing on paper, but this is reality. LA is Harden's 4th team in 3 years. That is a dysfunctional, toxic stat. It'll probably move Russell Westbrook to the bench, which I'm sure he'll be excited about. I'm sorry, but if we're watching Russ and Harden lift the championship trophy, everything we know about basketball is out the window. Something is gonna happen that ruins this. Every year the Clippers have some tragedy and we say, the Clippers gonna clip. Year 1 in the bubble, they blow a 3-1 lead, Pandemic P hits the side of the backboard. Year 2 they are dominating, but Kawhi tears his ACL in game 4 against the Jazz. They win the series, but the Suns beat them to make the finals. The last 2 seasons, somebody gets injured at exactly the wrong time. On paper, Harden's great, but we know about the Clipper curse. I think Harden did this because he wants to live and party in LA, who have great strip clubs, I hear, and he wants to get paid. Steve Ballmer is by far the richest owner in American sports, the only guy that can afford to pay everybody. And now without any picks, he has to pay Kawhi, PG, and James Harden. Even if this blows up, everyone gets paid. But the trade is far from over. I think Russell Westbrook will be on a different team by the trade deadline. He's got a history of not working well with James Harden, and they need a better fit for the playoffs. He has been really good in LA, but Russ will not like taking a back seat to the beard. Then Philly has another move. Daryl Morey gets an A+ for this trade. He had a disgruntled star almost nobody wanted. The Clippers were refusing to trade more than 1 first-round pick. He got control of 3? That is so good. Now he needs to flip those picks for another good player before the trade deadline. But until then, Tyrese Maxey has been amazing. Dude has taken the all-star jump in year 4. First week of the season, Maxey dropped 30 points a game on 56% from 3. He's one of the most explosive players to the basket and got 6 assists and 7 boards a night. Dude won East Player of the Week, and Philly is 2-1 only because of a 1-point loss to the Bucks. That is great. but it's not good enough if they want to contend. Yeah, they've got cap space later, but Embiid can't waste another year of his prime. So who will Philly trade for? Well, there's only two teams, I think, that could blow it up and put their players on the market. The Bulls and the Raptors. Chicago is in year 3 with LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch and are still a disaster. I made a whole video about this, but the Raptors had big players up for extensions and might finally tear it down. So potential trade targets from both teams are LaVine, DeRozan, or Alex Caruso from the Bulls, Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby from the Raptors. Buddy Hield's name is out there, so is Malcolm Brogdon, and random players on bad teams like a Kyle Kuzma. But Bill Simmons said Donovan Mitchell is the worst kept secret on the trade block. Now, one problem with the big names here is it eats into their cap space for next summer, so this would be their one big move. Are any of the star names a perfect fit? No. LaVine is bad on defense and unproven in the playoffs. Siakam's a good defender and has a ring, but he's a 32% shooter. Horrible fit around Embiid. And I don't think they get Spida Mitchell without including Tyrese Maxey, but is he that big of an upgrade? No. So what if Morey does something no one expects? What if he says Embiid and Maxey are my big two and builds a deep, talented squad around them? So he trades one first-round pick to get Malcolm Brogdon at point guard, then another first for Buddy Hield's shooting. Then he swings for a defender like Alex Caruso and has amazing chemistry around his big two. It's exactly what the Denver Nuggets just did to win last year. They proved you don't need to just stack a bunch of superstars. Get two great players with an elite, deep team around them. If not, their best case scenario is Mikal Bridges. A lot can change between now and the deadline, and if the Nets continue to suck, they might be open to dealing their best player for 2 picks, 2 swaps, and expiring contracts. Mikal is an amazing shooter and defender, and he's already used to being the second or third best player on a contender. If they are looking to do a bigger move this year, I would honestly pick OG Anunoby over Pascal Siakam because I think OG perfectly complements both Maxey and Embiid, and the Sixers' new coach Nick Nurse had a horrible relationship with Pascal Siakam, but he was really close with OG. But the Bulls are looking horrible. Even when Zach LaVine drops 51 points, they can't beat the Pistons. Chicago was so excited about their new front office, but they have become just as bad as the old GM. Now, they have no choice, but the moves they can do might finally make them a contender again.